aeronautics. And this paper is still under development, and I'm going to share with you some of the findings of my paper. Thank you so much. So this is the background and motivation. Environmental impact of business activities are being felt as content. So environmental impacts of business activities are being felt around the world today like never before. According to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, by the end of the 21st century, global temperatures will have risen by 1.5 to 5.8 degrees Celsius. World will undergo changes such as the thawing of the permafrost, rising sea levels, and extreme weather patterns leading to flooding, droughts, and storms. There will be severe food shortages, particularly in the developing world. From a firm or a business's point of view, such environmental impact of business activities have largely been considered externalities, the cost of which have largely been considered externalities, the costs of which have been rarely internalized by businesses. And this we call as the tragedy of the commons, because these are commonly owned resources and therefore they suffer from lack of ownership. However, there is now a growing global awareness of environmental challenges, and because of this awareness, there is a growing pressure from various stakeholder groups, and those groups are putting pressure on the companies to increase their environmental commitments. And by environmental commitments, I mean to improve their environmental performance as well as the reporting of this performance. So I'll just give you a couple of quotes from two very well-known scholars, Altheimer and Demsetz, 1972 paper. He said, when a durable resource is used, it will have a marginal product and a depreciation. Its use requires payment to cover at least use-induced depreciation. Careless use is more likely than careful use if one does not pay for the greater depreciation. And this is the case for our natural resources. Because we have not paid the additional depreciation, it has led to an over-exploitation of our natural resources. Then Arrow, another very famous economist, he said, although it may seem an odd use of language, one has to consider the damager as the agent and the damaged as the principal. Again, in pollution control, society may be regarded as the principal and the polluter whose actions cannot be fully monitored as the agent. So the society, in the case of the natural environment, the society is the principal and the business is the agent. So what we do in this paper is we extend the scope of the agency theory developed in the context of the relation between a public firm and its shareholders and apply it to understand the behavioral implications of the implicit contract between the firm and the society in the context of the natural environment. We see the firm as a nexus of contracts and based on the public property rights to clean air, water and land, we consider a business as an agent who has an environmental contract with the society, who is the principal, under which it implicitly agrees that it will not pollute or degrade these publicly owned natural environmental resources in the process of the production and sale of its goods and services. In turn, the society provides business with what we generally call the license to operate. So the key assumptions of this theory are that both parties to the implicit contract are rational and utility maximizing. In other words, the firm's utility increases with its profits and on contract, while the society's utility also improves with natural environmental welfare, and so there is a divergence of preferences. The firm wants to maximize its profits and the society wants to maximize environmental welfare. And there are information asymmetries between the two parties. The principals, which is the society, does not know the full extent of the environmental costs of business activities. And the principals also have a limited ability to influence the agent's behavior because of the problems of coordination and coordination challenges of collective action. So, in the process of its profit pursuit, the business could violate this contract and impose negative externalities, that is, natural environment agency costs, example, pollution, depletion, overexploitation of natural resources, degradation of natural environment and biodiversity. All of these, we call them as NEACs, natural environment agency costs, which it can impose on the society. If the NEACs are sufficiently large, visible and perceived as materially impacting the environmental welfare of the society will demand remedial action. That is, it will demand the business to internalize its needs, or in the worst case, society can revoke its license to operate, jeopardizing the very survival of the business. So examples of some of the retaliatory actions by the society could be fines imposed by regulators, carbon mandatory costly permits, carbon credits, carbon taxes, constraints on the firm's operations such as banning the use of harmful substances, product boycotts, etc. So what our theoretical contribution in this paper is that we extend that NEAT identifies environmental agency costs and demonstrates how governance mechanisms, which are theorized in a more traditional agency setting, that is bonding, monitoring and incentives, could ensure that the implicit contract between the society and the firm is honored. So this is our model. This is a very quick review of my research. So the commitment is the environmental commitment is the key variable, and environmental commitment means improving environmental performance and environmental reporting. This is affected by monitoring by stakeholders. And we measure monitoring by environmental news counts on environmental controversies, analyst coverage, and institutional ownership. And incentives, we measure incentives by environmental awards, the environmental awards that the company gets, and also the extent to which the executive compensation. So this we have sustainability-related compensation incentives. So these are the incentives that the firm has to improve the sustainability performance. And we say that the higher the commitment of the firm to sustainability, the higher the financial performance of the firm, and the lower the subsequent risk. So we have collected data on US publicly listed companies from 2005 to 2019, and this data has been collected through intersection of a number of databases, including CompuStat, Refinitiv, ESG, Bloomberg, RedRisk, and IBIS and Thomson Reuters databases. And we use the Since you are clapping, I assume you are understanding what I am saying. Okay. So we have used structural equation modeling, which has been done in the Devon package in R. So this is just a glimpse of the results that we find. We find that first we have, because we use structural equation modeling, we have commitment measured by environmental disclosures and environmental performance. Monitoring is measured by environmental use counts, institutional ownership and number of activists. Incentives is measured by CSR awards and sustainability incentive pay. And first we carry out a measurement model regression, and we find that the variables that we use to measure commitment, monitoring and incentives have a good fit. So after that, we run the regression of commitment on financial performance and the firm risk, and we find that environmental commitment by the firms improves a firm's financial performance measured by the return on assets, and it reduces the firm's risk, which is measured by the standard deviation of return on assets. We also use other measures of financial performance, but due to time limitations, I will not discuss them here. So overall, the conclusions of our paper are, these are our contributions and conclusions. We extend the scope of the agency theory, the traditional agency theory, and apply it to study the contractual relation between the firm and the society in the context of the natural environment. We highlight the role of governance mechanisms, including bonding, monitoring, and incentives in tackling needs, which are the natural environment agency costs like depletion, overexploitation of resources, degradation of natural resources. Our empirical analysis supports our key theoretical predictions, and we also have a number of implications of our research. The theory implication is that we rationalize the doing well by doing good strategy within the agency theoretic setting, which is a widely used setting for rationalizing and influencing firm behavior. Our policy implication is we highlight the vital role of governance and regulation in mitigating natural environment agency costs, and the practice implication is that we demonstrate that both businesses and their stakeholders, including academic institutions and students like you, all of us have a key role to play in protecting and renewing our natural environment. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Are there any questions or any comments? Thank you so much for listening. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Amama Tawkar, for gracing the conference with your constructive keynote speech. Now for our next keynote speech, I would like to introduce you all to Dr. Ali Malik. Dr. Ali Malik is a senior academic, researcher and fellow of Higher Education Academy of UK. After the completion of his doctorate studies in accounting and finance from the UK and his astounding academic achievements, He pursued a career in academia. Currently, Dr. Malik is associated with QFBA Northumbria University in Qatar and working as an assistant professor there. Also, he has published many papers in well-reputed journals, including New Political Economy, International Journal of Business Performance Management, Pacific Business Review, International Journal of Financial Services, and the list continues. He is on the editorial and advisory board of a number of international research journals as well, such as the International Journal of Business Performance Management. So dear audience, please welcome Dr. Ali Malik for his keynote speech in your burst of applause.
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you, the Dean of the Faculty. Thank you, organizers, for inviting me to this highly scholarly activity. I am the happiest person in the auditorium right now, and I have a valid reason for that. It was a team of 3 of us who started this department, obviously a long time ago. And I'm so very pleased to see that it has grown into a massive and impactful institute with so many departments under and able leadership of Professor Dr. Jawad. In 2018, I decided to move from UK to Qatar. Besides financial reason, one main reason was it will bring me close to home and enable me to travel to Pakistan more frequently than I do. I'm able to travel 3-4 times, sometimes even more, from Qatar to Pakistan. And every time I come, I cherish any opportunity to interact with students and youngsters of the country. Unfortunately, or something with concern that I've been noting over the last few years, is how the Pakistani society, and particularly the Pakistani households, are being financialized. And that too, at a very great pace. Finance is very important, finance is dominant, finance is critical to everything that we do, because we live in a financialized world. And if I link it to the theme of this conference, finance is critical to equitable recovery from the COVID-19. But unfortunately, finance has coherent inequality in it that I would like to talk about. We live in a world that has been financialized, and that process began somewhere in 1950s and 1960s, when we saw that the manufacturing sector started declining as a percentage of the world GDP, and the financial sector started growing as a percentage of the world GDP. And somewhere to the end of 1970s or early 80s, that intersection took place, where the financial sector overtook manufacturing sector, and since that, both have been moving in opposite directions. Manufacturing sector kept declining, financial sector kept ascending. And the result is our world financialized. And we live in a world that I said that has been financialized. So what does that mean? A financialized world is a world that has the dominance of 4 things. And those 4 things are the dominance of financial institutions, dominance of financial markets, dominance of financial elites, and the dominance of the financial models in the running of economy and its associated institutions, both at national as well as international levels. So what are the outcomes? When the world was financialized, the outcomes are that the manufacturing sector gave importance to the financial sector, number 1. Number 2, income and wealth has been transferred from the manufacturing sector or the real sector to the financial sector. Number three, we have the greater income and wealth inequality in the world. Number four, we have wage stagnation. Let's discuss them in the reverse order. The wage stagnation is, if you look at the real wage curve, take a data you can very easily access it, 30-minute search on Google. If you look at the real wage data from 1970s to 2022, over the last 50 years, your real wage growth is absolutely zero. So wage rate is a straight horizontal line. So it means the earnings in 1970s were same as earning today. Only increase has been to accommodate for inflation. Right? So if there is no increase in wages and there has been influx of lot of unnecessary expenditures, and that has put pressure on the households, and the household has no choice but to refer to credit. And if financialization is a gun, then the bullet of that gun is the credit. The engine of that car is the credit. And when I say that I observe that Pakistani society is being financialized, this is the availability of the credit. You see the credit working everywhere. You see people having credit cards in their pocket more than that they have, for example, 10 years ago. You have more motorbikes on finance, you have motor cars on finance, you have home financing becoming popular, and a lot of people have bank accounts that overdraft. For example, if you look at the data for 2000 or the late 90s, you will see that for Pakistani society, the major source of borrowing was the family and friends. Now, still they are the major source. However, the banks and the financial institutions are catching up as a major source of borrowing, and I reckon within the next 5 to 10 years, the places will be reversed. As we speak, family members and the friends, they are responsible for 37% of the borrowing of the household, and the banks are 14%. And mark my word that within the next 5 to 10 years, it will be reversed. The banks will take over as a leading lenders to the household. So wage stagnation is an issue. And then the second issue is the greater income inequality. Right? So we have seen the gulf between the rich and poor has gone wider and wider, and the financialization has actually helped increase that. We have, as we speak, 62.5 million millionaires in the world. Right? 65.2 million millionaires in the world today. Go and search for the data about 1980s and 1980s. We will have few thousands millionaires in the world. So the financialization of the world has helped create more millionaires. If you look at the Credit Suisse report, they publish annual wealth report for the world, and we live in a very wealthy world right now. Net wealth of the world right now is about 673 trillion US dollars. If you divide it by the adult population, each and every one of us is wealthy with 87,400 US dollars. Convert it into Pak rupees, and that is 20 million rupees per adult. So if a household has 2 adults, they should have 40 million left. 4 adults, they should have 80 million left. But is that the case? No. So the problem is not with the wealth, but the problem is with the distribution of the wealth. And the distribution of the wealth is that 85% population has 14% wealth. And the 15% population has 86% wealth. And if you look at the top, it gets even more serious. The top 1% of the population has 47% wealth of the world. And that is the result of the financialization, right? And look at it. Just let me give you an example. In 2006-7, in America, there were 74 tax filers who were in the highest bracket of the income tax in the US, and that's $50 million or plus. Only 74 people. And their average wealth was around 91 million US dollar in 2007. What happened? We had COVID-19, right? So we had the crisis, and in 2008 and 19, their wealth increased from $91 million to 518 billion US dollars. So it means that the entire world was melting. Those millionaires, they saw a mammoth increase in their wealth and their income. So that greater income inequality is a problem and that will continue to grow. Now, coming back to the financial markets and the financial institution and the dominance. Again, let me give you examples with the data to get your attention. The world GDP right now is around 80 trillion. One financial market forex. The daily transaction size in forex is 6.6 trillion US dollars, which means hourly transaction of 250 billion, 6 times more than the budget of Pakistan, right? So it means Pakistani budget is only equivalent to 15 minutes transaction in the world forex market. At its peak, it was about 750 trillion US dollars, 8 times the world economy in 1 second. Look at another one, derivatives market, 1.2 quadrillion. Even as we speak, after the crisis, 600 trillion US dollars, 7 times of the world economy. So the real sector has lost its importance and dominance in front of the financial sector. Right? The financial sector has become. And worryingly, what is happening in the financial sector? What's happening in the financial sector? No real economic activity, no real production of goods and services, no real contribution to the GDP. Most of the financial markets are just speculation, gambling, trying to figure out the prices. For example, what's happening in forex? Just trying to bet and stipulate the value of one currency against another. Where is the economic activity behind it? Where's the real contribution behind it? Right? So that problem will continue. Unfortunately, finance has grown to a level. I've given you some examples of few sectors. There are dozens of other sectors like, for example, stock markets and bonds and gilts and other derivatives markets that can grow. So I've given you 2 examples, and those 2 sectors, derivatives and forex, they are 20 times bigger than the world real economy. That means real economy, the manufacturing sector has no chance when it comes to the financial sector and the market. Now, the problem here is that financial sector has become irresistible force. It has become a tsunami. Unfortunately, you cannot control it. Unfortunately, you cannot tame it. Right? If it continues the way it is, what we will have? We will have the financial crisis more often. Right? So we'll have one after another, and we will not be able to stop it. There was an interesting story from 2006-2007. It was when the long-serving governor and head of Federal Reserve of America, Alan Greenspan, very famous name, he was retiring in 2006. And there was a conference to honor his achievements for making the US economy the best in the world, for recording sort of unprecedented growth to the economy. And the conference was taking place, everybody was singing praises for Alan Greenspan's economic policies, for making the US economy the biggest and the best in the world. There was one person in that conference who presented a paper and with data, and he showed his concern that the US economy will not be able to sustain the development, and very soon it is bound to crash. Unfortunately, the speech did not go well with the participants. They didn't want to hear anything like that. But a year and a half later, his prediction came true, and we had the financial crisis. The poor guy used to work with the IMF. He lost his job immediately after that the news. His name was Raghunath Rajan. But if you're feeling guilty for him or sorry for him, then don't be. He later became governor of the Reserve Bank of India, and he did some very good job. So the point I'm trying to make is that the finance, the sector, they do not want to hear anything that can sort of present negative or a speed breaker or sort of something that is trying to impede their progress. Now coming back to my point, and I'm very at the time as well, I have other very important keynote speakers as well. I would love to hear them as well. If you have $10 in your pocket, just $10, provided you have no debt, congratulations, you are richer than 15% of the Americans with just $10. If you have £100 in your pocket, available today that you can do and withdraw from the ATM, you are better than 26% of the Brits. 26% of the British adults, they do not have a saving of £100 for rainy days. And that is the result of financialization. I mean, just very quickly, I'll just closing down my discussion. The process of financialization in UK, it begins as soon as somebody becomes an adult. Right? So you are 18 years old, the financialization will begin. How? Through student finance. You finish your A-level, go to school, here is student finance. Right? 70,000 to 80,000 pounds, which you have to repay within the next 20-25 years. You did your graduation, you found a job, right? Now you need a car. Here's a car finance. Few years later, you're going to settle down, you're going to buy your home. Here is the mortgage that you have to repay within the next 25-30 years. So lucky are those in a country like the UK and other Western world who retire debt-free or who die debt-free. Those people are just few. And those people are very, very lucky. Now in Pakistan, what's going to happen? In 2000, the household debt of the Pakistanis was about 228 billion rupees in 2000. Today, it is about 1,200 billion rupees. 6 times increase in the last 20 years. And my prediction is, from now on, it will double every 5 years. Why? Because it has attained the size and momentum that you will have more people coming up who will be floating graduates, who will be graduates walking everywhere, and with no proper financial literacy, with no proper understanding of the consequences of falling into debt, I'm sure that the more households, more people will fall into the trap of this trap. So for the universities, I think it's very important that we should promote financial literacy. I have been a very big critic of our school systems. We teach our students sciences. More than 60% of them do not find any utility of physics, chemistry, and biology. All right? Once they leave the school. Teach them business, teach them finance, teach them money. It should be the core curriculum right from the middle schools. People that leave school, they should have the financial literacy. They should understand that we live in a financialized world and what it means to live and cope in the financialized world. And I think I also referred to the point during that Dr. Amama was referring to. I think to make the financial sector more responsible, very important that we enforce the social contract theory, right, in a stricter terms. And the corporate sectors, they should not be allowed to grow more than certain size, right? It should be broken down into a small, visible, and more manageable, because the power that they get with their size, the complexity that they attain with their size, that gives them the power to do what they are doing. So on that note, I'll leave you. Thank you very much, everyone, once again for listening, and thank you very much for your time.
Now moving to our last keynote speech of the occasion, I would like to invite Dr. Sri Sara Masna Muhammad Saleh from University Malaysia Perlis, School of Business, Innovation and Technopreneurship. So dear audience, please welcome Dr. Sri Sara Masna Muhammad Saleh in your huge round of applause. Throughout the globe, everywhere, basically, we have been emphasizing that we need to increase the level of entrepreneurship in our country. But then, do we really have the understanding of why entrepreneurship is very important? So now, let's take a pause here and ponder upon the focal reason of someone to become entrepreneur. Is it just because for you to have a job? Is it because for you to have a source of income? If that's the case, then everyone can be an entrepreneur. If you want a job, run a business. If you want an income, source of income, you'll become an entrepreneur. But if this is the case, then how can a business sustain in the long run? Because we understand the life cycle of any business, in entrepreneurship business, there will be a time where you need to innovate, you need to create, you need to offer new product, unique process, or unique product service, so that you can sustain in the market. If you are only focusing on starting a business, running a business just to earn profit, then we are only focusing on necessity-based entrepreneurs. Prepare the young graduates, the young generation to become great entrepreneurs. Not only running a business and earning profit, but become a great entrepreneur. And looking at research as well, including the research that I have conducted, it looks like only giving entrepreneurial education is not enough. It doesn't stop there. To prepare better, innovative graduates and creative graduates, it takes more than just the education. The educators, me, myself, and all of you, we need to play our part, our role. It shows that with innovative teaching staff, innovative teachers, innovative or creative professors, that can actually enhance the preparing or nurturing the mindset of our young graduates to become more creative, more innovative, that can help them to become great entrepreneurs in the future. So if we want to have better entrepreneurs, great entrepreneur in the future, it is innovative entrepreneur instead of necessity-based entrepreneur. This starts in the education institution itself. It starts with the education that we provide, with the exposure, the innovative skill that we show to the students, then only the graduates will become more innovative and creative and will become great entrepreneurs in the future. Another thing that I'm sure we are familiar with, we know about it, but then it's always forgotten or neglected, is that diversity. When you are working with a diversified group, it can actually help you or enhance your creativity and innovation. Because when we are working with diverse genders, diverse background, diverse experience, even from diverse cultures, these differences in every individual of us, if we use it correctly, if we manage properly, it can actually help us to produce more creative and more innovation results and decision making. So not only having education, entrepreneurial education for the students, we as the educators and the professors, we have to be innovative ourselves. At the same time, we have to promote our students to work together in a out of their comfort zone. Then only the creativity can be polished. Then only they can become an innovators and future entrepreneurs. And besides that, when we talk about entrepreneurs, what do you mean or what do we think a great entrepreneur is? When we talk about business, someone who runs a business, it's always money and business always go together in our mind, in our perception, right? We will measure a successful entrepreneur, a successful business person based on how much money they make, how much profit they make. Right? If they make more money, then they are more successful. But then, the focus or the goal of entrepreneur should not be only to earn as much profit as they can or as much money as they can. If we are only focusing on creating more entrepreneurs that can earn millions of money, then here we are only focusing on creating selfish individuals. It has to be beyond that. Earning a lot of money should not be the full stop of any entrepreneur. To be a successful entrepreneur, we should see beyond that. Nowadays, we need entrepreneurs that can earn, successfully in financial way, but then they need to be able to give back the society, to have impact on the society as well. This is where we need to create more social entrepreneurs. First, we need to create more innovative entrepreneurs, but at the same time, we want more social entrepreneurs. Because why? With social entrepreneurs, not only we can increase the financial status of any nation, but at the same time, we can also make the world a better place. We can give back to society. This is how we should actually see a successful entrepreneur, not only based on how much money they make. So with that, I hope that I believe here in this hall, in this auditorium, we have from various backgrounds. We have educators, we have students, we have researchers. I hope that no matter who we are individually, if you're a practitioner, even if nowadays you are already an entrepreneur, even you are an educator, you are a professor, and even you young generation, young students, I hope in our own way, we can make sure that we can contribute in some way to make sure that in the future we have greater entrepreneurs, more social entrepreneurs, so we can contribute to the world to make a better world. Inshallah. With that, I thank you again for inviting me to stand here today, and hopefully with this conference we'll learn from each other. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Sri Sara Masna Mohammad Saleh, for your illuminating talk. With that, we have come to an end of our closing ceremony of the conference. I once again thank all the attendees for gracing this opening day of the conference with your presence. You have been truly an amazing audience. Shortly, the opening event of the Young Entrepreneur Summit, Yes 2022, is going to start. So I would advise the students to remain on their seats while our faculty members will guide our dignitaries and guests for the next phase of today's ceremony. Our conference papers presentation sessions will start at 2:30 p.m. sharp at the Institute of Business Management and Administrative Sciences. So please all of you move to the IBM building after the opening ceremony of Yes 2022. And now I am handing over this podium to the team of Yes 2022. Thank you all.
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम। सबसे पहले हमारे जो गेस्ट हैं स्कूल ऑफ लीडर के वकार अली हैदर और अम्बार सफारी, इनका मैं सबसे पहले शुक्रिया अदा करूँगा कि ये लोग आए हैं कराची से। इनके लिए आप लोग जोरदार तालियां दीजिएगा। और जो स्टूडेंट्स के लिए फैसिलिटी सरप्राइज हमने रखा हुआ है, हमारे जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं, जो इस इवेंट के पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, वो काइंडली सेटल डाउन ही रहें। उनके लिए एक छोटा सा सरप्राइज अभी विद इन 3 मिनट्स हम अभी स्टार्ट करने लगे, जो कि शायद बहुत से लोगों ने आप जो यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं उन्होंने एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया होगा। बैक इन 2017 जब चैप्टर 1 हमारा स्टार्ट हुआ, उस वक्त हमारे लिए भी ये बहुत बड़ा सरप्राइज था कि व्यापार हमारे बीच में आए और उन्होंने आके हमें बहुत सारी चीज़ें सिखाई। तो इस यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर समिट की जो सेरेमनी है, ओपनिंग ओपनिंग सेरेमनी को फॉर्मली स्टार्ट करता हूँ। हमारे होस्ट हैं सैयद मंदोश रिजवी, इनको मैं फॉर्मली इनवाइट करता हूँ और इनसे रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि हमारी ओपनिंग सेरेमनी स्टार्ट करें।
Assalamualaikum, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Hamdosh Rizvi. We welcome our chief guests, faculty members, students from all over Pakistan in Young Entrepreneurs Summit Chapter 3. Yes, Young Entrepreneurs Summit Chapter 3 is an effort to promote entrepreneurial ecosystem in Southern Punjab. Yes, Chapter 3 is for you to exhibit your entrepreneurial skills by displaying your business ideas, afford determined national delegates and speakers from all over Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your golden chance towards success by acquiring better business opportunities and network with high net worth individuals. मैं थोड़ा सा आपको इस इवेंट के राउंड्स के बारे में बताना चलूँ, लेकिन उससे पहले मैं ये जरूर चाहूँगा कि हम हमारे आज के जो स्पीकर्स हैं उन तक आपकी तालियों की गूंज पहुंचा सकें कि आप कितने एनर्जेटिक हैं हमारे मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर्स को वेलकम करने के लिए। इस्लामिक यूनिवर्सिटी बहावलपुर की ये खासियत है कि हमेशा से प्रायोरिटाइज किया गया है कि ऑल ओवर पाकिस्तान के जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनको यहाँ पर अपॉर्चुनिटीज प्रोवाइड की जाए, यहाँ पर इनवाइट किया जाए और यकीनन स्टूडेंट्स फ्रॉम ऑल ओवर पाकिस्तान, डिफरेंट इंस्टीट्यूशंस, यूनिवर्सिटीज, कॉलेजेस, आप लोगों को इस्लामिक यूनिवर्सिटी बहावलपुर में आने के बाद ये अंदाजा जरूर हुआ होगा कि हाउ वेलकमिंग वी आर एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर चूजिंग द यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स समिट। थैंक यू। और बेसिकली यस की जो हिस्ट्री आपको जैद साहब ने बताई, इसके अंदर हमेशा से ये कोशिश की गई कि यंग माइंडसेट को आगे लेके आया जाए। नाम भी इसकी वाज़ेह दलील है। और अगर आप अपनी जिंदगी का एक अच्छा सर्वाइवल प्लान करते हैं तो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप आपके लिए एक वाहिद जरिया मैं समझता हूँ कि हो सकता है। और इस तरह के जो इवेंट्स हैं वो आपको प्रमोट करते हैं, इस तरह के इवेंट्स आपको एक करेज देते हैं कि आपकी नॉर्मल लाइफ जिस तरह आप गुजार रहे हैं उससे आगे जाना और भी है। तो मैं इस इवेंट का थोड़ा सा आपको बताना चलूँगी। हमारे इस इवेंट में 4 मेन राउंड्स हैं, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम लॉन्च अटैक, राउंड 2 बिजनेस एनकाउंटर, राउंड 3 मैथ हैक्स, राउंड 4 वेंचर और इसी के साथ साथ सब सीरियस तो आपको हमने बता दी है, लेकिन जिस चीज़ के लिए आपको मज़ीद एक्साइटेड होंगे वो हमारी कवाली नाइट, हमारी यहाँ पर मोटिवेशनल टॉक्स और फिर एक फॉर्मल डिनर है। और इंशाल्लाह हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि हमारा ये इवेंट है ये सक्सेसफुली एंड होगा और आप बहुत ही खूबसूरत यादें जो भावलपुर से नहीं है वो बहुत ही खूबसूरत यादें यहाँ से लेकर जाएंगे। मैं ये चाहूँगा कि लाहौर से यहाँ पर जो टीम है उनके लिए बहुत सारी तालियां होनी चाहिए। And for the team from Islamabad, उनके लिए बहुत सारी तालियां होनी चाहिए। इसी तरह हमारे मुख्तलिफ शहरों से, मुल्तान से, इंडिया खान से, दाताबाद से, इन सब के लिए कलेक्टिव आप सब की भरपूर तालियां होनी चाहिए ताकि हम लोग आप लोगों ने बड़ा पॉजिटिव फॉर्मल सेशन से पहले सुना और अब जो है हम लोग अपने पहले स्पीकर की जानब जा रहे हैं।
उनको बोलो लिस्ट दी हुई है, कोई भी नाम बोल दें वो आने देंगे।
यस की जर्नी जब 2017 में स्टार्ट हुई तो वो भी आपके पास स्टूडेंट्स ने ही स्टार्ट की और ये जो एक माइंडसेट था ये स्टूडेंट्स की तरफ से ओरिजिनेटेड था। और इस माइंडसेट में जो हमारा जो चैप्टर 1 था उसमें जरूर हमें हर्डल्स आए, उसमें भी हम लोगों ने ऑल ओवर पाकिस्तान स्टूडेंट्स किया और उसका इम्पैक्ट भी जरूर हुआ कि आज हमारे पास ऐसी मिसालें मौजूद हैं जो शायद यस चैप्टर 1 से अब तक एक सक्सेसफुल एंटरप्रेन्योर बन चुके हैं। और इसी विजन के साथ आप लोगों ने भी इस इवेंट को अटेंड करना है। आपके जितने भी बिजनेस आइडियाज हैं वो वर्थ इट हैं। ये जरूरी नहीं है कि आप उस चीज के लिए, यानी अगर फर्स्ट पोजीशन या सेकंड पोजीशन लिए हैं, तो एक एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के अंदर ये बड़ी पॉजिटिव चीज है कि आपका जो भी बिजनेस आइडिया है, अगर आप उसके ऊपर मेहनत करते हैं, काम करते हैं, तो वो जरूर फ्रूटफुल रहता है। हमारे जो स्पीकर्स हैं वो भी पूरे पाकिस्तान से हैं और पावरफुल की इस्लामी मस्जिद रावलपुर की, जैसे मैंने आपको पहले जिक्र किया कि ये लेगेसी रही है कि हम हर तरीके से हर कल्चर को प्रमोट करते हैं। तो हर चीज़ आपको अंडर द वन रूफ यस चैप्टर 3 में मिलने वाली है। और हमारे जो फर्स्ट स्पीकर हैं,
वो आया हुआ है। ये सर क्या गाड़ी में रखवा देना।
I would like to call on stage a man with vision, a man with strength to strengthen your strength, motivation and dedication. None other, CEO, School of Leadership, Mr. Waqar Ali. A huge round of applause.